Hey, what's going on? It's Darius Faru, and in this video I will share 3 questions with you that you can use to find your dream career. So before I share the 3 questions with you, I want to ask you a couple other questions. Do you wake up excited? Do you enjoy your job? Do you think that you are paid what you are worth? And if the answer is no, it's not a surprise. I've been there in the past as well. Some research shows that 2/3 of people are not engaged at work. And flat out, half of all professionals are unhappy with their job. And like I said, I was there as well. And if you're watching this video, there's a high chance that you are at that position as well. But the good news is that you can change. And especially in today's economy, in today's world, we have a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, that is a good thing about today's economy, but it's also a bad thing because it makes it very difficult to actually pick something that we want to pursue. And one of the things that I highly believe in is that if you want to get good at something, or if you want to get a career, create a career, then it's best to stick to one thing. Stick to one career, because if you hop from one career to the other, you will never build the network that you need to be successful, or build the skills that you need to be successful as well. So it's really important, the earlier the better, to figure out what your dream career is. And that's why I'm sharing the 3 questions in this video. And I learned these from Peter Drucker. And they are in his, it was actually an article called Managing Oneself. You can buy it as a booklet as well. I have it as well, and I read it very often. And there are 3 questions, there are a lot of questions actually in the booklet, but I selected 3 questions that I found really helpful, and I want to share them with you. Question number 1 is, what are my strengths? And the reason that Drucker asks this question is because in his experience, he never saw a career that was built on weaknesses. And I have to agree with this as well, because if you think about it, it's very logical. If you want to be good at something, it's better to focus on the things that you are already good at and improve them so that you can get even better than that. But if you start improving your weaknesses, then you can get mediocre at best. And that is not a good investment of your time if you want to be effective. So ask yourself, what are my strengths? Now, the reason that I'm shooting this video, because I also wrote an article about this, and people ask me, hey, how do I figure out what my strengths are? Now, what I do is I journal a lot. I do a lot of introspection, and that is a skill that I've improved over years and years of journaling and thinking and reading. But if you are not really good at writing or journaling, and if you don't even like it, for example, it's not the end of the world. What you can do is ask people in your environment, people that you work with, to ask them what they think your strengths are. One caution though, don't ask people who are your competitor. Because they will probably not give you the correct information. What you want to do is seek out people who are a little bit further in their career and who want to see you do well, and they don't see you as a competition or a threat. So that is important to keep in mind, to seek out people who don't want to give you bad feedback on purpose, because it's naive to think that everybody is out there ready to help us. That's why I prefer to be self-reliant and journal and think about it. So that is a good way to figure out what your strengths are. So I already talked about journaling. What I do is I often write down the things that I want to do, things that I set out to do, my goals. And then later on, I always reflect and I look at what went well, what did not go well, and how can I improve. And specifically what you want to look at, okay, I said this and this happened. What went wrong or what went well? Maybe my goals were too high, my expectations were too high or too low. What can I adjust? And in that middle, in those adjustments, that's where you will learn what you are good at and what you are bad at. So that is really important for us to know to build a good, successful career. Question number 2, how do I perform? So this question is all about how you achieve results. Now, some people achieve results best when they work alone, others in teams, others in big organizations, small organizations. And some people work best when they put their headphones on. All these small questions that you have to ask yourself to figure out the larger question that is above all these is, how do I perform? How do I achieve results? So what you want to do is put yourself in a place that is helpful, and put yourself in a place that you can achieve the best results. So for example, I don't work well in very crowded places. So I don't want to work in an office that is very crowded and there's a lot of activity and a lot of meetings, right? So I don't want to put myself in that kind of position, because that will not help me to get the best results. So that is really important for us to think about as well, when we're trying to find a career that is good for us. Hey, do I want to work at a big company or a small company? Do I work in a workplace that's very crowded and very chaotic, or do I prefer more structure, right? So at this point, you're already shaping your ideal career, and the ultimate goal to figure out what you want first and how you perform best then is to create the job that suits all your strengths. And then the last question is, what are my values? The reason that you want to know what your values are is because if there is not a match between your values and the company's values, or the industry that you work in, then you will always be frustrated in the end. You might start at some career or a job and then everything is fun and great and you love the work and you're good at it. But if there is no match between what you value in life and what the company values, then you'll be unsatisfied. So I can give you an example. Personally, I don't like competition between peers, but a lot of people do, right? A lot of organizations do. They thrive on it. But because I do not like it, it's not one of my values, I cannot work at a company or workplace that encourages competition between peers. So that makes it easier for me to figure out, hey, what will I do? So to sum things up, okay, what are my strengths? How do I perform? What are my values? Now, what do you want to do with this information? What you want to do is figure out a career that is suited for you. Automatically, you will find out what is not right for you, because that's the first realization that you will have. This is the thing that I realized several years ago, and the people that I've coached and helped as well. The first thing that we often figure out is you can cross off a lot of companies and industries that do not match your strengths, how you perform, and your values. So that's what I would do first. Now, if you still don't know exactly what your dream career looks like, that's not the end of the world, because this is a process. It takes some time to get to know yourself a little bit better, but trust me, it is worth it. Even if it takes a year or even longer than that, this is a good investment of your time, because the rest of your career you will benefit from the decisions that you make early on. But if you don't take the time to think about these things, then you will never get the career that you always wanted. And that is something, we all want a career that makes us satisfied financially, emotionally, and it's difficult, because if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about creating your dream career, check out my course. It's called How to Create Your Dream Career. There's a link in the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments, or go to my website, dariusfarooq.com, sign up to my newsletter, and reply to any one of my emails. I'm always open to answer your questions and hear your feedback.